All right, I am here with Goran from our ship. He is our coordinator, and he's nice enough to give me a private tour.
Here we are. This is one of the most popular destinations along the Croatian coastline. So we are in the town of Hvar, which is like administrative center of the whole island. By the way, island of Hvar is one of the longest islands in Croatia. So nearly it's 40 miles long, and the town of Hvar is like center of it with 3,500 inhabitants. Around 12,000 people are living on the island itself, but of course during the summer this number triples, especially with a lot of travelers, tourists coming with the boats, catamarans, ferry boats, so different kind. A long history, just in brief, we're going to talk a little bit later about it. Now we are looking at a beautiful fortress that locals will call Fortica, or like Španjola, and it was built during the time of the Venetian Republic, because the island of Hvar was under Venice control for nearly 500 years. So back in the 16th century, also as a part of the protection defensive system, this fortress was built on top of it. It came it went through the different misfortunes, even with the big explosions back in the 16th century, but still original structure is up there, and we're gonna check it out in the next few minutes. Yeah, so from over here we can see the part of the medieval walls going all the way down to what is today the old town. Yeah, so this is just the one fragment of the walls which have been built going back almost 600 years ago. But then after the 16th, 17th century, the town started to spread outside of the city walls, so it basically lost its, importance in that way, but still the visual structure is visible. So we are right on the fort of Španjola from the 16th century. And from over here we can see the beautiful island of Vis all the way over there in the distance. This is where we are heading tomorrow, as a matter of fact, and a group of the so-called Paklinski Islands. Paklina is like the old Croatian name for the sap, from the tree sap. Yeah, so this is one of the versions how the islands got the name.
All right, Goran, are we in prison?
That's right, that's it.
Can we get out?
We are staying over here.
I kind of prefer the cruise ship to this place, but
okay. It's fine. Yeah.
It's fine. All right.
We can have some delivery. Here we are in front of the Benedictine nunnery in the town of Hvar, one of the oldest one on the Adriatic coastline. Go back 400 years ago. It's actually located in a house of the famous poet from the Renaissance period called Hannibal Lucic. But today there is only a few nuns inside. They live in a convent. They're not allowed to go outside. And what is very cool about this place is very unique, because they're still making the one-of-a-kind lace out of the agave threads. So this is the only place in the world, as far as we know, that you are making the lace out of the agave threads. And usually this is the time when the weather is humid, because then the agave threads are fragile enough so you can actually make the pattern. And each nun has its own pattern, so each of these unique lace is basically unique and one of a kind. And if you talk about the price, believe it or not, so they are selling it, as part of the, let's say, foundation, the donation. So for the piece like this, it can cost up to $400 US.
Wow.
Roughly. So it's a beautiful small museum inside with a couple of exhibits, but at the moment it's closed. So this thing is also under UNESCO protected sites as one of those intangible world cultural heritage things that not just Croatia, but the island of Hvar is famous from since 2009. So very unique, one of a kind. All right, here we are on one of the biggest squares on the islands in the Croatian Adriatic coastline, and behind us is the St. Stephen Cathedral. It's a mixture of the style. As a matter of fact, it was built all the way from the 14th century, from the 15th, 16th, 17th century, so there was a lot of reconstruction taking place, as well as the bell tower is separated like from the church itself, going back in the 16th century. So it's like a great representation of the mixture of the styles, like Gothic, Renaissance, even part of the Baroque, especially if you get inside of it. This is the cathedral because the Hvar as a town took over as a bishopry back in the 13th century when the Stari Grad, the other town on the other side, lost its importance. So this is when the town of Hvar started to develop, and the cathedral is one of the results of it from that period.
And you said this is St. Stephen's Square?
St. Stephen's Square,
Yes,
it's one of
okay.
the largest.
All right. Let's take a quick look. Got some nice architecture, a few restaurants. And we just saw the cathedral, which is right there.
Here we are on the other side of the town of Hvar, overlooking the beautiful port and the old city. There's a lot of yachts here. This is one of the most popular spots for the nautical tourism. A lot of famous singers, famous actors, movie stars place the foot on the town of Hvar. Great food, great drinks, unique history, so you should come check it out. Thank you.
So is that permanent? They're going to leave it up there, or is that?
Yeah, right now it stays like that. Yes,
Okay.
but this is actually the reality, the real thing. So you will find the real clothing material
Right.
belonging. But this is just part of the exhibition in order to make it like more lively. Yes. But this is how the people still dry the clothes. That's it. Nobody has a dryer here. Here we are on the other side of the harbor. Beautiful sunset overlooking the Franciscan Monastery behind, which was built back in 15 throughout the 16th century, mainly by the donations from the ship captain from the town of Hvar. Yeah? So it was part of the agreement, and since then it has been standing here. It's not the active monastery, but a beautiful historical representation of the other side of the town of Hvar. All right, here we are. This is one of the local stands that sell local products, mainly the lavender and the rosemary. And here is one of the true, and the olive oil. Yes, not forget the olive oil. And this is one of the true local producer, Carmen.
This is basically what my husband and I do, having the fields around the area on a rocky terrain. It's very basically difficult to do the agriculture here, so everything is done by hand. We produce essential oils of lavender and the rosemary. Since we also do extra virgin olive oil, we decided to make a blend. So we do massage oils as well of lavender and rosemary to relax tense muscles for the pained muscles as well. Production of the lavender on the island of Hvar is difficult because everything has to be done by hand. And we use small sharp sickles here, and that's basically how we do it. We use the distillery of the cooperative of the village of Overlooking, where my mother-in-law was born.
So the lavender grows in the fields, right?
It grows in the fields, you have to cultivate it.
Right. How long does that take usually?
Basically 3-4 years to get a decent production of the essential oil, and it takes approximately, when we harvest, you can count that 40 kilos of a lavender flower is required to get 1 liter of the pure essence of lavender.
So you have to wait 3 or 4 years for it to grow. So it's kind of like people who they have vineyards and the wine, the grapes and the wine. It just takes forever to
Grapes,
ferment.
6, 7,
Yeah.
let's say olives 8 to 10 years. So
Right.
it takes a lot of time. The only thing is that we have scattered fields around the area, so it makes it very hard to be efficient. So you have to lose a lot of time traveling from one place to another.
Okay.
And the fields are pretty much on a rocky terrain here, which on the other hand is very good for the lavender because lavender needs good drainage and a lot of sun as well.
Okay. And do you sell anywhere else, or just you have like
For the moment we are only here.
right here? Okay.
Only here, yes.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, if you're on the promenade in Hvar, come over here. Get some nice lavender and olive oil.
yes, and we won gold medals for the products of the both extra virgin olive oil
Oh.
and the international competition of a
Really? Okay.
product. Of
So it must be
Croatia.
quite good then.
We try to do our best. I think this was the sign that we're on a good path.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Thank you too.
So I'm here with Goran, who was my guide for the last 3 hours. We're tired. Have you been here before?
Local tavern. No, first time.
Oh, first time, okay.
Yes, I have been passing here many times, but
All
no,
right.
first time we're gonna try food here. Yes.
All right. We're gonna have some seafood probably.